Alright, so I know I said I was never gonna review this movie on my channel, but being that the first Carnosaur movie was actually my very first video I ever uploaded on this channel, I thought it was only fitting that we should resume after such a long hiatus with this particular film. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Raptor from 2001. So technically this is the fourth film in the Carnosaur franchise. That being said, calling this film a movie, I mean, I can barely even consider it such, considering that about 80% of this film consists of stock footage recycled from the previous Carnosaur films. So, fun fact, this was actually my introduction to the Carnosaur franchise. I caught this on Sci-Fi Channel when I was about 13 or 14, and after seeing this movie, I just had to go back and watch the previous three films. And listen, I have a lot of respect for the Carnosaur films, as well as Roger Corman himself. I did really actually kind of dig those films growing up. I mean, yeah, they were bad, they were cheaply made, but there was a certain sentimental charm to them that you just don't see in a lot of movies nowadays, especially B movies. Because when we think of B films nowadays, we think of like Sci-Fi Picture originals, Asylum Pictures, films like that use a lot of really crappy CGI and TV actors. But the Carnosaur series felt like it had some heart to it. Plus the usage of practical effects, again, while very cheap looking, still added a certain charm to the films. So what have our old pals, the Carnosaurs, been up to since we last saw them? Well, let's go ahead and dive into Raptor and find out. We open up with... Wait, did I accidentally put the first Carnosaur movie on by mistake? Actually, no. So you see, this quote movie actually consists of about 80% stock footage using clips from the first three Carnosaur movies, with new actors sometimes inserted into the footage. So basically, we open up with the same scene lifted from the first Carnosaur, where the three kids in the Jeep get mauled and eaten by the baby Deinonychus, just with a different sound effect being used for the dinosaur this time. Wait, hold the fuck up. Music by James Horner? That James Horner? The same guy who scored Aliens and Titanic? Actually, no. This composer just so happens to have the exact same first and last name. I even had to Google his filmography just to make sure. Now it's time to meet our hero for the movie, the sheriff played by... Wait, Eric Roberts? What the hell are you doing in a Carnosaur film? You were in The Dark Knight, for crying out loud. But then again, you were also in Sharktopus. Also, we get the sheriff back from the first Carnosaur movie, although he's obviously playing a different character this time. I do have to feel a little bad here for the actors who got dragged back into being in this film a full 8 years after that first movie, which I'm sure most of them would probably rather forget that they were even in. Also, the sheriff's first assumption on what could have killed these kids is apparently a fucking bobcat. Then we get introduced to our love interest, with whom Sheriff Roberts here apparently has a little history with. She also works for forensics. The conversation gets cut short, however, when all of a sudden a loud snarl off in the distance catches everybody's attention.
What the hell was that? Could have been the wind, maybe.
Yes, because the wind is known to snarl and growl like an animal. Now let's meet our villain of the film. This mad scientist known as Dr. Hyde. Haha, good one. Played by B-movie actor Corbin Bernstein. Also we meet his two assistants, one of whom is the same dude from the first Carnosaur movie, and gee, I wonder how he's going to die. Now it's time to rip off some more death scenes from the first Carnosaur. Here we get the scene where the poultry truck driver gets munched by the baby raptor, which makes no sense really because it's far tinier here than it was in the previous scene. At least in the first movie, they showed the scene in which the dino is newly hatched first, to show that it was growing at an accelerated rate. Here though, it makes absolutely zero sense. And here's yet another death scene featuring some more stock footage, in which this police officer magically transforms into the hippie from the first movie, after getting his face munched off. Then we get, I'm not even kidding when I say this, about a full 12-minute long sex scene. As expected, the dude gets munched by the Deinonychus, and we get more stock footage from when the dinosaur attacks the security van from the first Carnosaur. So the girl ends up driving the truck right off of a bridge, although she manages to jump out and survive, and the truck explodes on impact using a scene that's lifted straight from another Roger Corman flick, that being Humanoids from the Deep. Turns out the chick in the van who got attacked was the sheriff's daughter, whom is now catatonic. The guy with the suspenders starts getting cold feet and threatens to quit in order to avoid any trouble with the police. But Dr. Hyde has one last assignment for him. All of a sudden, we're transported back to a scene from Carnosaur 1, where the guy with the suspenders is now 8 years younger and is teleported into the same tunnel used in the first film. This leads straight into, yep, you guessed it, another laser room with another fucking T.rex in it.
What the hell was that? Oh, that's just a fuel pressure control release.
You know, that happens a lot in this movie. Back at the hospital, this has given them the brilliant idea to record the animal sound that they heard at the facility, and to then play it back to the sheriff's daughter, whom is still in a comatose state. But hey, look, it actually works. And now it looks like it's time for our sheriff friend to gun down the Deinonychus and get a claw up his ass. Only this time, he doesn't get to blow the dino's head off just before dying. Bummer. So our two main characters decide to go pay Dr. Hyde a visit, who then offers to give them a tour of his facility.
What is that?
I believe it's Stranger in Paradise.
So our two heroes wind up getting taken hostage and locked in one of these storage containers. But it's okay. The power company ends up cutting power to the entire facility, and our heroes are able to escape. Unfortunately, the dinosaurs are also freed from their enclosures. This is of course accomplished using, yep, you guessed it, even more stock footage from the previous films. The doctor and his side piece get into a fight, and she decides to quit before storming off into the elevator. There she is attacked by a velociraptor that crashes through the roof, and wait, We've seen this scene before, haven't we? Yep, so basically we get a reenactment of the scene from Carnosaur 2, where the woman is dragged through the elevator shaft and munched by one of the raptors. We also get a recreation of the death scene in Carnosaur 2, where the Velociraptor attacks the helicopter pilot.
Devonshire, what the hell's happening up there?
Oh, shit.
Huh. And I see we've now entered the Carnosaur 3 phase of our film. And it looks even weirder, especially when they start intersplicing footage from the older films into the new stuff, when it clearly does not match up at all. Now, normally I'd have too much respect for Roger Corman to say something like this, but this movie is like Asylum level quality. I mean, this shit's seriously that shameless. I mean, it belongs there with Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, Sharktopus, and all the other shitty movies that they have. And it gets repetitive to the point of where the movie is fucking boring. The movie, even though there's stuff happening, there's actually a lot of action going on screen, it's boring and repetitive as hell because, once again, we've seen it before. Alright, let's get this over with. So, the mama T.rex has eggs for no reason at all, just because they had to reuse some footage from Carnosaur 3. Oh, and conveniently we have a bunch of guys in yellow jumpsuits running around. Kinda like the rescue team in Carnosaur 2. Ah, they switched the color in from orange to yellow. You clever bastards. And all this setup is just so Dr. Hyde can confiscate one of the jumpsuits. That way the movie can recycle a death scene from the ending of Carnosaur 2.
Oh my god, hi.
Stand by, hold your fire!
That son of a bitch.
Fire him up!
What's also convenient is that there just so happens to be a Bobcat tractor right nearby. So we get another rehash of the Bobcat vs. T.rex scene from Carnosaur 1 and 2, interspliced with new footage of Eric Roberts driving the tractor. The background and surroundings also change several times throughout this entire scene. As does the quality of the footage. Now all we need is another character saying, "Eat this, Barney."
Eat this, Barney.
Oh, god damn it, I was kidding. So the day is saved. Sheriff Roberts pushes the T-rex over this ledge where it falls to its death, and the facility blows up. Because, you know, why wouldn't it? Several times, as a matter of fact, using recycled footage from both Carnosaur 2 and 3, and probably a few other Roger Corman films. So this particular sequence was not in the original version that I caught on the Sci-Fi Channel back in the day. However, apparently there is an alternate ending where we cut to a cloning facility in Utah where we see a cloned version of Dr. Hyde step out of some kind of telepod-like device, leading into a sequel that never happens. So that was Raptor from 2001, aka Carnosaur 4. God damn. Talk about lazy filmmaking. Why they didn't just go ahead and make an actual fourth Carnosaur movie instead of this lazy piece of crap is beyond me. Like I've said before, the previous 3 Carnosaur movies, while cheesy and extremely cheap, are still fun and enjoyable in a B-movie campy sort of way. Raptor literally has 0 redeeming qualities. I mean, for what it's worth, I guess Eric Roberts isn't too terrible in the movie. I mean, he's given a pretty shit script to work with here and some pretty silly dialogue, but I don't think his acting is the problem with this movie. And don't even get me started on the marketing for this film. So, here we have the standard DVD/VHS cover of the film. I remember seeing this one in Blockbuster when I first heard about this movie. It features a pretty decent drawing of the Raptor, although it is not any of the Raptors featured in the film itself, but in a silly, campy sort of way, I rather like this cover. Next, we have one that features the T.rex from the Carnosaur 2 poster, which is very misleading because the movie is called Raptor, not T.rex. So I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that this is a foreign DVD cover, because how in the hell Spielberg or Universal did not file a lawsuit is beyond me. Here we have a very badly photoshopped Velociraptor from Jurassic Park featured on this particular DVD cover. And it gets even crazier. One release apparently features the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3, again badly photoshopped onto the DVD cover here. Which makes even less sense this time because the dinosaur featured here is not even a fucking raptor, nor does it even resemble one. Well guys, that's a wrap on this episode. Please, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss out on any more fun here on the Movie Buffer. With that being said, stay awesome.